Welcome, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram family. We are back again for a Ready to Love review for episodes 7 and 8. I might be a little jumbled, but I'm going to do my best. You hear me? And this is Brahita Sydney Moore, of course. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. Let's get into these notes. So, starting with episode 7, I'm gonna kind of speed through it. I'm sorry, but basically Naya showed her whole ass. The fact, yeah, when I say she showed her whole ass, the fact that she got on television and sat down with Rashid and talked about how she reached out to Chris for a podcast after you paid that nigga dust like that. You want to work together? You a different. Let's get into it. So, basically, as I said, obviously Mia Naya, I don't remember, but she goes home. Like I said in the last episode, I really feel like Chris did not deserve all that heat, all that smoke, all that nothing. And the fact that that man was actually willing to have a conversation about it and wanted understanding and clarity, that, like I said, I don't think that's something you throw away. I feel like she was going to end up regretting it. And you see how she put all of her hopes into Edwin? Okay? She put all her hopes into Edwin. She here rubbing all his salt and pepper, rubbing all up in his beard and whatnot. And then she giving him like all nasty kisses and what, like, yo. Okay? So she's going in, even making very uncomfortable jokes about her kitty. Okay? She was like, I've got these kitty eyes and a pretty kitty, they match. Some shit. I was just like, girl, calm down. So basically, the men peeped the fact that the chick went had one conversation with dude and was like, and of course, the way the normal human mind would work, they're thinking, you could probably do that to me too. I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody where one thing happens and all of a sudden they gone like that. Like, that's a bit much. Hey, and I'm going to reiterate again. There is nothing wrong with asking for what you want. There's nothing wrong with being a housewife. There's nothing wrong with being a house husband. There's nothing wrong, and there's nothing wrong with doing either of those things and you don't work. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being the woman that brings home the money. It's what you want. It's about what you want. Ask for what you want so you can get what you want. Life is too short to be unhappy. And like I said, if I've been a person who's had miscarriages, I would be looking for that type of security as well. I completely and totally understand that. But Naya, you are so trash. Or you know what? Let me not say that. What you did was so trash. That was so trash. And then, girl, then when she gets eliminated, he's like, Rashid's like, I don't feel like you ready. And she gets up. She's like, you can say it to the couch. You know this nigga said it to the couch? He was like, well, I don't believe that you are ready to love. She's walking away talking about how her man is going to pick her up. I was just like, your man? Oh, you a different type of trifling. This has got nothing to do with asking for what you want. You are not a good person. At least not in this situation. Cause girl, for what? And she put out a statement talking about that there was a lot of editing, and then she was so mistreated and blah blah blah. I don't know how real that is. I do know what I saw, and what I saw was terrible. That was terrible. I was just like, God damn, Nia, I gotta watch out for you. You sound like a person to watch out for. Sadly, hopefully people can realize in the same breath that you can still ask for what you want and there's nothing wrong with having standards, but you don't have to be a see you next Tuesday about it. Just saying. So, moving on from there, because that was ridiculous. Oh, and I also want to say Denise was also in the bottom. Kalfani went ahead and talked to her about, oh, your jealousy and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like everybody's just waiting for Denise to pop off and explode. And she was just like, okay, I understand. I feel like everybody was just like, well, that was anticlimactic. Like, what did you expect her to do? Yo, let me tell you something. People are trying to drag this woman in the comments, talk about, oh, was she given all this fucked up energy and she's so jealous and she's so this and she's so that. She literally said, keep it cute. She had a conversation with him and was very open and honest. And to be honest with you, I actually respect that kind of openness. Just say, hey, you don't want me to fight for you? You don't think that it should be okay? Like it bothers me and that's not okay. But after that conversation, especially in an elimination, she totally got it. She was like, all right, cool. Two can play this game, which is literally a direct quote from episode 8. So, and speaking, and I also, forgot, or wanted to make sure I put that in there, that Rashid and Simone had an awesome date. Okay. Simone actually asked him out and she then let him go ahead and plan the date. And Rashid, I like Rashid. He's growing on me. He is. He is a listener, even though he does come off a little materialistic and kind of those things. But he's definitely a listener. And when they were having that conversation in the truck, and she was saying like, "Tell me about something that you overcame." And he was talking about how he was in remedial reading, and it was something his mother was like, "You're going to college. We're going to fix this." And I realize that that's probably what we're seeing when we see him be a little materialistic. He's probably trying to cover up for some of those little insecurities. But I really feel like, which I think is what Denise was getting, where she was like, "Oh, it comes off narcissistic," when that's obviously not the case at all. I feel like Rashid is like, he planned out this beautiful little date where they were sitting in the back of this antique car, and it was like kind of like they had all of this beautiful food spread out, and they shared an old nasty kiss, and I was like, oh, I could watch more. You know what I'm saying? It was cute. It was super cute. I really liked it. So let's get to Lex, right? So Lex tries to talk to David, and she's trying to tell him about trauma that she's gone through. There was an abusive relationship, why she has issues being vulnerable. And he starts to make jokes. Like he's trying to lighten the mood that doesn't need to be light. And I'm going to let you know right now, a lot of times when people do that, that's a real sense of immaturity. Because you can't read the room. You can't read the room. So you feel like, oh, she's talking about an abusive relationship. The best thing that I should do is to make jokes right now. It's just kind of this little boy nervous energy that I don't understand, because she obviously likes him, but she's not going to be able to deal with that, because I wouldn't be able to deal with that. I had a situation once where I was in a relationship with a boyfriend, and I was trying to tell him, and this was a couple of years ago, and I was trying to tell him about, some severe trauma that I had been through, right? And literally this man turns to me and says, "Oh, it hurts me so much to hear you say that. Don't tell me anymore." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, fuck me then. I'm sorry. My trauma, your hurt." You know what? I'm being insensitive. So that's kind of the same feeling that I get from Brian. And I don't think it's purposeful. I don't think the man's a terrible person, but I think that he's not a good listener, and therefore probably wouldn't make the best partner, because you need communication to be a good partner. And that was just, it was just terrible. But let's go ahead and talk about the Facebook thread that I was in, that literally was dedicated to getting Brian off. Honestly, I feel like too many people in the comments were being like, "Brian, are you on a shadow page?" Because he was basically trying to say that Lex's friend, because in the last episode, her name was Tanisha, I believe, and they had a conversation where she said nothing derogatory. She just said that because your walls are a little high and you seem a little guarded, and usually if you were really all in it, it really wouldn't be that way. So maybe you should explore the connection. So she decides to listen. She assesses the situation for herself, has the conversation with Brian, and realizes this man's really not listening to me. She has a third conversation with this nigga. He's still making jokes. Because she's like, listen, why do you do that? You did it again. And he's like, oh, well, I think it's charming. To who? To who? Listen, she listened. She assessed for herself. And she went ahead and made a decision. That's basically what happened. And you just realized do you know how terrible it is to be in a relationship with somebody who you can't talk to? What's the point? It's literally just dick at that point. So I just really did not appreciate the fact that they literally tried to compare Lex to Nia or Naya in the situation where oh, she listened to her friend, which by the way, Nia didn't listen to her friend. Nia made that decision her goddamn self, okay? But Leah went ahead and listened to her friend. Lex went ahead and listened to her friend and just made a snap decision. I don't like Brian no more. No, this bitch tried. She tried. She tried to talk to him several times and she was like, oh, this still sucks. And then on top of that, when he had a date with Winter and he downplayed the relationship between him and Lex, and when Lex found out about that, she's like, oh, okay, I'm really good. I'm good. You're not gonna go ahead and dismiss me and then dismiss me. So, hey. Spoiler alert, Brian went home. Okay. Oh, listen, these notes. Okay. What else? Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about Winter, Anthony, and Denise. So, well, let's talk about Anthony and Denise first. I really love their connection. It is easy, it is fun, and it's one of those relationships you would look from the outside and being like, I think I would love that connection. Seriously. I think that Denise is at a point where she's like super open about her life and she has a story and Anthony's like listening. You can see them really trying to vibe. But I feel like Anthony may not be assertive enough for the women in this house. When he went on a date with Winter, Winter went ahead and basically, I think it was it Jay? I think, was it Jay that walked up to her? He was like, what you doing, my girl, bruh? You know, staking his claim, saying what's up. It's very attractive. And, you know, you see Anthony back off and just be like, all right, look, I guess you guys are talking to me. Winter had to say, I don't mind if you say, oh no, this is my time right now. I want you to fight for me a little bit. Which, by the way, to all of the colossal jackasses in some of these FB threads, does not mean she wants him to physically fight someone. She wants someone to be assertive. She's not trying to put anybody in jail. I'm pretty sure she would attest to that. But for whatever reason, they took the whole fight for me thing and was just like, they made it completely toxic. And it would just, I was just like, yo, dissecting a little too harder than most people should. Just saying. So when Winter kind of says this to him, I kind of noticed that he doesn't really. I like Anthony, but I don't feel like he has. I think that he's too guarded to have a real connection with the women. I do. 100%. Because when Winter and him were having a conversation later on that same date, where she was like, are you afraid to be hurt? You know, she's saying she's not afraid to be hurt because she's already gone through it. But I could tell that there's real trepidation. And I think, and I can see it within Anthony in all of his interactions. It's like, I'm going to go so far, but like I can't get too deep. And for a woman like Winter who's been divorced before and she's looking for her life partner, she wants you to know what you want and she wants you to make sure she knows it too. And I understand that so completely. I still do like their connection, Anthony and Winter, but I feel like Anthony and Denise are a stronger match. Let me see what else. Oh, so Joy and Edwin have a date. I really do like Edwin. Edwin actually reminds me of someone who I used to be very much in love with. He was also a veteran. And I feel like with Edwin, there's a lot that he's not saying. I think that he talks, but there's not. I noticed that before Simone grilled him, we're going to get into that, but before Simone like grilled the shit out of him, I realized that we don't know anything about Edwin. His dad lived across the street or in the same city, and he grew up like that and never knew him, never saw him. And then he wants to say there was no problems or issues with that. That was a big red flag to me. Because we got to be honest here, boy. We too old to not be honest. This man is 39, salt and pepper, and gorgeous. We should be able to at least be real about those things. And I don't think that he is. I feel like he likes to talk around some of his issues to make him sound like he's completely okay. And on the date with Joy, he did that, I feel like, the entire time. I feel like he was so afraid to be more open about what he's going through, that he was kind of speaking in more general terms. I really appreciate the fact that you care about me so much. And he also admitted he hadn't really gone through therapy for what he's gone for everything. Cooking is his therapy. And this man, being prior police force and prior military, and I believe that he said something about doing tours in Afghanistan. I'm not completely sure. Somebody can correct me. You don't come out of that unscathed. And you don't get to cook your way out of trauma. I just don't see it. And I feel like Joy doesn't know exactly what it is, but she's picking up on something off. And I don't think there's anything off about Edwin. I just feel like he's not willing to be open. And to be honest with you, if you look in these comments, I wouldn't be trying to be open either. They try to dissect the man. They calling him creepy as shit. They doing all kinds of shit. And I'm just like, damn, 20 on 10 for real, for real. It's not necessary. It really isn't. I do think, though, that there's a whole lot more to unpack with Edwin. And I feel like Joy, because it does take a special person, a special kind of person to be in love and in relationship with somebody who does have PTSD. I feel like it does take a special person to do that. So he's afraid that if he tells Joy exactly what it is, she's going to be like, oh, I need less problems. And that's a completely understandable fear. And to be honest, if you look in any of the comments for these Ready to Love things, it's very, very valid. And that's what I am going to say on that. So we already know that Brian went home. But as far as the women, the one who went home was Simone. And like I feel like I've said this before, but I like Simone. I feel like her openness and her willingness to take criticism is so fucking refreshing. And nobody seems to be paying any attention. Like that whole situation with her, Winter, and Joy, how they sat down, it was such a beautiful communication, and it wasn't like combative. It was just receiving and wanting to get better. And I feel like Simone is a really sweet spirit. I feel like she comes off certain ways because of her own insecurities. So she's trying to protect herself. But I really do like Simone. I do. I knew that she was going to go home because she had no connections in the house. Like none. None. No connections. I feel like she had somewhat of a connection with Rashid, and if she had stayed longer, she might have been able to nurture it. But I feel like that connection was even made too late. Like, you should have been on Rashid's dick from a lot. Well, not on his dick. You don't understand what I'm saying. You should have been on that before, you know? So she basically goes on a bacon tour. I'm sorry, girl. I love you, but that's what it was. And she's basically saying, like, oh, you're in my top and blah, blah, blah. And I think it was even Kalfani who was just like, yeah, that's a little late. And again, she receded. She's like, because even when she got like eliminated and they were saying the whole speech, she was like, yeah, it was too late, but I was trying. And I'm just like, bitch, I got so much respect for you. But that's because I love it when people are honest and open about their own shit. And they know that they're a work in progress, and they can keep going. I'll be honest, I feel like the right people went home. I really do hope Simone and Rashid connect at some point because I did like that connection. That was cute. And I also feel like Adriana, I feel like she has a deep connection with Rashid. I'm not denying that, but I feel like her physical connection to Kalfani might be stronger. What that puss be saying to you now? But I'm trying to think if there's anything that I am missing, and I don't believe so. But if there is anything that I am missing, please put it down in the comments. I'm going to try much better to have like a regular schedule on this. I promise you, it is just a work in progress because I am in full-time school. But this is really important to me, and I want to make sure I am continuing to give content no matter if no one's watching. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you are, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.